Right now, there is a tree outside your window that is older than most countries. It has been standing in the same place for centuries, just existing. And we have decided with complete confidence that nothing is happening inside it. No experience, no awareness, no inner life of any kind. We made that call about every tree on Earth, all 3 trillion of them, based on exactly zero direct evidence. We just assumed. But in 1997, a forest ecologist named Suzanne Simard drilled into the roots of a fir tree in British Columbia, injected it with radioactive carbon, and watched. Within hours, that carbon had traveled underground through a network of fungi into the roots of a completely different tree. A tree with no nervous system, no brain, no anything we recognize as awareness. And yet, something passed between them. Here's the thing about assumptions. They don't feel like assumptions. They feel like facts. We assume the sun will rise tomorrow. Not because we've proven it will, but because it always has. We assume other people experience pain. Not because we've felt it from inside their bodies, but because they react the way we do. Assumptions are invisible. They're the water you swim in without knowing it's wet. And one of the deepest assumptions our entire civilization is built on is that thinking requires a brain. It sounds obvious. Of course it does. Every thinking thing we've ever known had one. Brain equals thinking. Simple. But that's not a discovery. That's a pattern we noticed about ourselves. It's like growing up in a city where every taxi is yellow and concluding that all cars are yellow. You're not wrong based on what you've seen. You just haven't seen enough yet. We made a universal rule about consciousness based on the only conscious thing we'd ever met, ourselves. Now here's where the science gets genuinely uncomfortable. There's a problem that philosophers and neuroscientists call the hard problem of consciousness. And the core of it is this. We don't know why physical matter produces subjective experience. We can watch neurons fire, we can map brain activity in real time, we can point to the exact region of the brain that processes fear, or language, or the sound of your name, but we cannot explain why any of that creates the feeling of being alive, of experiencing things, of having a perspective at all. We don't know how the brain makes you, you. Not really. Not at the level that actually matters. So, if we can't explain how we think, how confident should we be about what else can? Back to Suzanne Simard. What she found in that British Columbia forest wasn't a fluke. Underneath every forest on Earth, right now as you're watching this, there is a network, a web of fungal threads called mycorrhizae, woven through the soil, connecting the roots of trees to each other. Scientists call it the mycorrhizal network. Some people call it the wood wide web, and through it, trees do things we have no tidy explanation for. When a tree is sick, neighboring trees sometimes send it sugar through the roots. When a tree is under attack from insects, it releases chemical signals that travel through the air and through the ground. And the trees around it, trees that haven't been touched yet, begin producing defense chemicals in response. Before the insects arrive, they are warning each other. They are responding. Something is happening. We walked through forests for thousands of years. We built entire civilizations surrounded by trees. We wrote poetry about them. We painted them. We used them for everything. And the whole time, they were having conversations beneath our feet. And we had absolutely no idea. So let's go somewhere uncomfortable. If trees can communicate, coordinate, respond to threats, what exactly are we saying they can't do? In 2006, biologist Monica Gagliano began running experiments on plants that the scientific community largely didn't want to take seriously. She exposed Mimosa pudica, a plant whose leaves fold shut when touched, to repeated harmless drops of water. At first, the plant closed every time, a threat response. But after enough repetitions with no actual harm, it stopped closing. It had learned that this particular stimulus wasn't dangerous. It had, by every behavioral definition of the word, remembered. Not for a moment, not for an hour, for weeks. With no brain, no neurons, no nervous system as we understand it. Gagliano published her findings in the journal Oecologia. The response from the scientific community was essentially, that can't be right. But the data didn't care. Now I want you to sit with something. There is a tree in the White Mountains of California called Methuselah. It is 4,800 years old. It was already ancient when the first libraries were being built. It was standing when Rome rose and fell. It was there for the Black Death, for the Renaissance, for the invention of the printing press. It was there when the first humans walked on the moon. It is still there now. 4,800 years in one place. Watching. Or not watching. That's the question. Because if something is happening inside that tree, some form of processing, some form of awareness, scaled to a time scale so different from ours that we've never thought to look for it, then that tree has been present for more of human history than any human ever was, and it couldn't tell us. Or maybe it was trying to, the whole time, at a frequency we never thought to listen for. Here's the part that should actually bother you. We thought animals couldn't feel pain once. Not metaphorically, literally. For a long time, the dominant scientific position was that non-human animals operated on instinct alone. Stimulus, response, no inner experience, no suffering. We were wrong, completely wrong. And when we accepted that we were wrong, we changed things. Laws changed, practices changed, the way we treated other creatures changed, because we realized that what we had assumed was an absence of experience was just an experience we hadn't learned to recognize yet. And now we're standing in front of the same question again, just with something that doesn't have eyes. Or a face. We have removed roughly half the world's forests since civilization began. And if even a fraction of those trees had something happening inside them, half, some form of being there, then the scale of what we've done is something language hasn't quite caught up to yet. Maybe this all sounds too far. Maybe consciousness requires neurons. Maybe the mycorrhizal network is just chemistry and there's nobody home. Maybe Methuselah is just wood and water and rings. Maybe. But here's what's strange. 100 years ago, if you told someone that the universe was 13.8 billion years old, that time moves slower near a massive object, that most of the matter in existence is invisible and we can't detect it. They would have told you that was too far too. Science doesn't expand by confirming what we already believe. It expands by finding out we were wrong about things we were certain of. And we have been certain about this for a very long time. We will never fully understand another human being. That's just the truth of being alive. We're all trapped inside our own experience. And if that's the limit of our understanding of creatures exactly like us, same biology, same language, same kind of brain, then maybe we should be a little more humble about what we think we know, about everything else. Maybe thinking doesn't look like us. Maybe consciousness doesn't need a brain. Maybe there's an entire world of inner experience happening around us right now, in the roots, in the soil, in the slow, patient wood of something that has been alive longer than our entire recorded history, and we're just too certain of ourselves to hear it. Or maybe not. But what if, though?